Dr. Claudia Hupkau is Associate Professor of Economics at CUNEF University in Madrid.
The direct costs, the immediate costs right now are the deployment of over 100 military troops plus more than 300 Catalan regional officials who have been deployed to contain the outbreak, including drone surveillance, disinfection, animal removal, etc. So these are sort of the direct costs faced now by the government. But then we have further potential costs, including culling. So if the disease spreads from the wild boar, which is currently only affecting wild boar, to domestic farms, we are also facing the cost of killing. To put it sort of in perspective, Vietnam had an outbreak in 2019. They had to kill more than 3 million pigs, representing about 25% of their national pig population. Spain has 34.4 million pigs in 2024. Catalonia accounts for nearly half of that, so that's big. And if imagine a similar scale as in Vietnam, killing about 25% of that stock, that would imply killing more than 8 million pigs. Furthermore, we have export revenues collapsed, so several countries have already announced or introduced bans on imports from Spain. China has a partial ban, only from the region of Catalonia. Japan has a blanket ban. So these are, of course, economic costs that Spanish farmers face. And the timing could be worse because right now we have the Christmas season where demand is typically high.
This is an industry worth billions of dollars a year. You've talked a little bit about it, but how can Spain keep its supply chains and its international markets open?
So the first thing they have to do is demonstrate containment. So they must prove to the world that the outbreak is limited to wild boar in a specific area, and they have to deploy as many resources as possible to contain the spread. Now, it's very hard to contain because it's a disease that spreads very, very easily. Apart from that, in order to keep supply chains open, they need to push for regional agreements. So what we have right now, for instance, from Japan, this blanket ban on Spanish imports is very harmful because not all Spanish regions are affected. So by banning all imports from Spain, that affects, of course, those importing markets negatively, driving up prices there.
What does this mean for prices? Because there are some estimates out there that the price of pork could soar 85% if this swine fever strain isn't contained in some of the ways that you mentioned. Yeah, so this is a plausible price effect, 85%. It's sort of a worst-case scenario. So you have to, there are two effects, right? On the one hand, you have the import restrictions imposed by other countries. So that means locally here in Spain, we will have a negative demand shock, which would drive down prices, which is currently what Spanish farmers are worried about. Fear and misinformation about, the impact on humans. It could also mean that people stay away from pork and they shift to chicken or beef, which would further drive down prices. But you're right. If farms are hit and the disease spreads, costing thousands or hundreds of thousands of domestic pigs' lives, then that's a massive supply shock, which would then drive up prices substantially. And in the export markets, like in China or Japan, that import a lot from Spain, that would now immediately the import ban means a rise for them.